Prayachanara Pongava. Give me bhakti. Why Tulsidas is praying for bhakti? Because as great as a jnani like Shankaracharya, in the famous Viveka Chudamani, after describing this sadhana chatushtaya, he comes to bhakti. Bhakti is the easiest way to attain the thing we want. Swatma tattvanasandhanam bhakti ritya parejabu. Here bhakti means not to be taken in the dualistic aspect of bhakti, a devotion to a God with form. Here bhakti means when the two different forces of the personality, they combine together and flow homogeneously. Tulsidas gives indication to that inside the heart my desire is that I seek you, Rama, but I am not able to really go for it. Why? Kamadi dosha rahitam kuru manasamcha. Though my heart wants this, that is the conflict inside our personality between the heart and the mind. One is the rational and another is the emotional. Whenever there is a conflict between the heart and the intellect, Swamiji says always follow the heart. But it is not easy to follow the heart, because we are where our heart is. But when the heart starts functioning, the mind comes in between with all the past impressions. It will make us go against our own wish. Though we want to go to Rama, mind says, fellow, hundreds of kamas, desires. You only thought about these desires. You had so many aspirations, ambitions, and mind will come out with a list of desires. First fulfill this. You decide now. Did you not want these desires? Yes. Then suddenly why you are turning there? No, my heart wants. Your heart wanted these things in the beginning, and they all got lodged in the unconscious, subconscious realm of our mind. So when the heart wants to go towards God, a sadhaka, they aspire and finds that it is difficult for him to plunge forward. Moment he wants to go forward, the habitual tendency of the mind pulls him down. And then there is a conflict. A struggle ensues inside his mind. That struggle is quite shattering, because the mind wants, heart wants and the mind doesn't want. How to make the mind and heart unified? That is where bhakti comes. Bhakti is a unified flow of the whole personality. The heart and the mind becomes one, and therefore the conflict ceases. Heart is the wife, mind is the husband. Wife wants to come to Ramakrishna Math, husband says, what about the preparations? You have to send the children to the school, I have to take the tiffin to the office, you are running behind the ashrama. When bhakti comes, and if we are fortunate, the husband and the wife, both of them, they turn out to be devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. And when the wife wants to come to the ashrama, husband says, okay, pray for me also. I will come in the evening. So the combination of the heart and the mind is one of the important things in our spiritual life. We hardly understand this. And even after deciding God in the heart, emotional aspect is so strengthened, but unable to proceed forward. Sri Ramakrishna, the genius as he was, he gives a very beautiful picture of this state of mind. He says, during our younger days in the Kamarpukur villages, we used to find mongoose roaming here and there. And these naughty, mischievous children sometimes will catch hold of the mongoose, tie a 3 feet rope onto the tail of the mongoose, and at the other end they will tie a brick. Not knowing this, the mongoose will climb the wall. Up to 3 feet it will go. Pulled down by the weight of the brick, again it will come back. again it will go and again it will come back. Are we not doing the same thing? We go and then again we come back. Again we go, we come back. Always on the square number 1. Because in spite of the craving of the heart to be united with the God, even for us also. Last 4 or 5 years I am telling, I don't meditate on Kashi Vishwanath, I meditate on Cash Vishwanath. Because so much of workload is that we want to finish it, and therefore every time we want to put the mind. Even during the preparation for these talks, I used to feel half the mind is there in the building of the ashrama. Once that is over, Kamadi dosha rahitam, Rama, all these kamas, the desires are the agenda which we have kept in the mind, which we want to fulfill. It is lying hidden in the mind. Janma janma antare. Hundreds of births, we had so many desires. Because the personality of man is a combination of the heart and the head. Heart and the mind. So the whole thing must be combined, and bhakti is where there is no contradiction. Heart gets the prema, mind has accumulated the kama, the desires. So bhakti is, Narada says, Satu asmin parama prema swarupa. We have now adhama prema. What is the adhama prema? Attachment to the worldly things. They are also prema. I like my child, I like my husband, wife, so many things. We have got adhama prema. That is the mind running towards the objects of the senses. Though it may look very insignificant, the potency of this tendency of the mind to run behind the things of the world, you will find, acts when we want to meditate or do japa. Exactly at that time, all these thoughts will come, will not allow a sadhaka to proceed forward. How many years we are meditating, is it not? After long years of struggle also, devotees will ask how to concentrate. Yes, it's not an easy thing emptying the ocean, because mind is a huge sagara. Mind is a real samsara sagara. To cross the mind, Kranti ki pahadi, nadiyan beach mo, ahankar ki bhayvat. How to cross this valley, rivers, mountains, and the tornado of ego blowing constantly, it is all inside the mind. Swamiji also gives a very beautiful picture of the mind in the Amba Stotram or maybe Shiva Stotram. Vahati vipula vataha purva samskara rupaha pramadati balavrindam ghurnite ormimala prachalati kaliyugmam yushmat asmat prati natanayana niyuktam neelakantam namamaha. These impressions, accumulated impressions of the old births, all the acts we have done, the thoughts, the words, the deeds, everything are lying hidden, and that is what is coming up when we start to act. The impulse is coming from the heart, but that impulse of the heart must be complemented by refined, purified mind. Mind when purified, when kamas are not there, then it becomes prema. Adhama prema is nothing but kama, desires for things of the world. However we may boast, we are behind Sri Ramakrishna. It's not so easy. Once in the West, Swamiji was attending a lecture by a Christian father, and the father told, "Give all you have unto Jesus and follow me." And after the talk, collection was made. And whatever collection Swamiji had in the pocket, He had given lecture in the morning, the entire collection Swamiji emptied out in the basket which the person brought. And the lady who arranged the lecture for Swamiji, they said, "Oh Swami, you emptied the whole thing? Whatever collection we made in the morning for your lectures, you wanted for India, huge collection." No, but the man told, "No, given to me all that you have and follow Jesus. So whatever I had, I have given. But giving unto the Lord whatever we have, it is not so easy. Giving up, so that giving up is emptying oneself, which is a difficult task. We are very fondly holding on to things of our own memories. Memories, though they are like ashes, which cannot cook a food like fire. The memories are so fond, is it not? Again and again, like the cow chewing the cud, we live only on memories most of the time, is it not? The past seems to be so predominant. We refuse to come out of the past, and God is an eternal present. God cannot be caught by the past, and He doesn't have a future because He is Kalatita. And we are Kalabadha, mostly the past extending. Every time you watch yourself, you will find it is a memory that is acting. Even our Japa meditation, it has become a memory. Memory means it has got no real fire. It is always the past. When you do an action, at the time of that action, it remains very fresh in the present. After some time, the action, either in the form of a thought or word or a deed, goes back and gets lodged in the subconscious mind. And that is what is guiding the next actions, is it not? You can easily watch it. You can test it. Last 2 years before I tested whether really mind picks up the things which we do at night and whether it is the same thing we repeat in the morning. Night 10:45, I switched on and watched Enter the Dragon film. I don't know whether you have seen it. It's by Bruce Lee. It's a lovely film, adventurous film without any masala. Long before in the college I had seen it. Just out of curiosity I switched on. And by 12:30 I went to bed. Early morning, 5 o'clock, when I sat for meditation, I found it is not Sri Ramakrishna but Bruce Lee who is coming into the meditation. Without my effort, what went inside, with that I came out. So most of the time, what do we go with at the time of night? The whole day's collection of thoughts, is it not? The collection of the thoughts with which we go inside indicates that we are clinging to the happenings of the 24 hours, otherwise it will not cling to us. So memory becomes more and more strengthened. Two important things come here. One is, who is a good teacher? A good teacher is one who leaves the board clean after her class is over, is it not? Many times teachers, they leave the class for the next teacher, but the board is full of her teachings. Either she is solving an arithmetic problem or she has written something about biology. She will not clean. So most of us are either mediocre or below standard teachers. We don't rub the mind clean. When the mind is not clean, rubbed out, the same thing starts continuing in the early morning. The problem is, when it comes again early morning, it is not the first time. It is the impression that is coming again, and when the impression goes down, it has created a second impression already. Swamiji says, whenever an impression comes inside the mind, and the impression comes back as a thought, know that that impression has already vibrated 20,000 times in your mind. It has vibrated so fast, it's supersonic, we don't understand. Then we want to curb the thought. The best way to curb the thought is leave the blackboard clean. But we are not able to leave it clean. We carry it. So carrying forward. And these things appear in our dream, is it not? So one of the important checks trials or tests to see how far we are progressing in our spiritual sadhana, they say is Swapna Shuddhi. The dream will get purified. Unwanted, threatening, worldly dreams, or sometimes we get lots of dreams which will keep us worried, or sometimes worries come in the dream and make us more worried. Our own worries, otherwise we will not be able to recognize when anything is new. And new is the most dangerous thing because it is so unknown, uncertain, and therefore God who is not known to us is one of the most dangerous thing in the world. All of us are telling we want God because He is not known to us. When unknown things come to us, because we are not familiar with it, it is not within the field of our memory. God is not within the field of our memory. Our imagination about God may be in our unconscious mind, but not the real God. Thought is not God. We are all thinking about Ramakrishna is Ramakrishna, not at all. Thought about God is the distance between me and the God. When the thought collapses, then God alone is. Thought carries with it the thinker, the ego, I am. That is why Patanjali says, Yogaha Chitta Vritti Nirodha. All the thoughts must subside. Thought is like a photograph. Photograph of my mother is not my mother. It is only a representation. Yet, they say, better to keep that, otherwise we will become wayward. We will be having so many other memories cropping up. Then they say to keep all other memories away, keep the memory of God. So that memory has to be purified. Smriti Parishuddhi. How to do the Smriti Parishuddhi? So that the remembrance of God alone predominates. You can watch when you travel in the bus, in the train. Simply keep quiet. Don't do anything, but you will find mentally you will be doing hundreds of things, is it not? Whether you want or not, these are the mechanical actions of our own inner organ. Like you switch on, there is no thought, fan will start rotating. Most of us are mechanical. And japa also sometimes becomes mechanical. Whole spiritual practice also becomes mechanical. When it becomes mechanical, then we are caught in the unconscious stream. Consciously, when we do it with alertness, with awareness, then it is the action of the Chaitanya, attended with Shraddha. You know what you are doing with knowledge, with alertness, with awareness we are doing. God is the antithesis of unconscious, is consciousness itself. Most of the time repeating japa itself we will be sleeping. It's a mechanical action. For most of us sleeping also is a mechanical action. Is it not automatically evening we go and sleep? Because we have been doing it for long years. And as you chant the japa or start meditating, the mind becomes little quiet. And the quietness of the mind gets associated with the memory of quietness. When are you quiet throughout the day? When are you quiet? That also we are not quiet, but comparatively the external world is quiet. In the sleep also sometimes I find somebody was holding another man left and right. What happened? Bloody boss. Now it's 11:30, 12 o'clock. No, I was just dreaming. The boss has given me something to do. So it's all going on inside. We are not quiet even in the dream. The sleep we get dream. But at least the external world is shut off. Is it not? As you start sleeping, the five sense organs become quiet. Outside things are not disturbing you. Your own inner things disturb. And after some time when you start crossing the frontiers of dream world, then you sleep soundly and others are disturbed. Is it not? Last time I was coming, in the compartment everybody is snoring. Oh wow. There's a sound sleep and we can't sleep. So the quietness gets a memory link, and as soon as we start doing Japam, we also go there. So that's mechanical, we are not aware or we are not alert. The memory has slipped into the unconscious channel. We came to sit and wanted to do japa, is it not? And slowly we slipped into the unconscious realm. That's how the computer, when it gets corrupted, it slips into some other thing and goes on hanging. That's what, sleeping now. Once when we were in college, we had an NCC camp and we were highly mischievous. So mischievous that by evening 5 o'clock in the compartment, almost all the boys were dead tired. And one of my friend, he was a Gujarati boy, was sleeping on the floor of the compartment. And by 5:30 he started snoring. He was from Santa Cruz, Santhu Patel, I still remember. But when the incident happened, I never thought that it would be so helpful for me in future lectures. So as he was snoring, all other boys, we were going to Pune, Ahmednagar, they started laughing, and then immediately I thought, no, what next mischief we can do. So as we were watching, I suddenly saw a bundi. Laddu is a small piece of laddu. The bundi was, I took the bundi, he was snoring loudly, I kept it on his lips. And these boys were watching quietly what I am doing. And within few seconds we saw the lips shivered like this. And the lips opened, the tongue came out and took the bundi inside and ate it. And we all started laughing, ha 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 ha, like that. By the time he got up, why are you laughing? And one of the boys asked, how sweet was the bundi? Bundi, which bundi? But now you took the bundi, where? So how unconsciously the senses are acting, is it not? Look at the power of the senses. And the whole nervous system, who is controlling us? We controlling the mind? Or the mind controlling us? That incident happened in 1974 or 75. But that incident, it left such a mark that every time I look and think about the mind control, it gives to me an impression how mechanically we are working, is it not? So how to break this mechanical tendency and habit of the mind, because mechanical unconscious mind cannot catch the conscious God who is consciousness. It is very, very difficult. It is very difficult for a sleeping mind to catch God who is eternally awake. Brahman never sleeps. So the famous saying of Swamiji, teach yourselves, teach everyone his real nature. Call upon the sleeping soul and see how it awakes. Power will come, glory will come, purity will come, goodness will come. All that is excellent shall come when the sleeping soul is roused to self-conscious activity. So the spiritual sadhana, it is a self-conscious activity where we cut through the maze of desires which we have unconsciously thought over throughout our life. Most of the time you will find desires are almost arising unconsciously, is it not? You are going in a car, suddenly the board appears, taste the thunder. Long before that was the advertisement. I don't know whether you remember or not. Suddenly seeing the board, taste the thunder with Sachin Tendulkar pouring the bottle into his mouth. I stop the vehicle. Well, what? इतना गरम लग रहा है, थोड़ा सा thunder पी कर जाएंगे. That is a Pepsi Cola advertisement. So what happened to you? You are going at 90 miles speed. That is okay, but with such a speed, the message entered inside my mind, and the man stopped the vehicle. And by that time, so many things happened, and they got late, and they told, "Now taste the blender." You were going for your journey. Why did you stop? So thunder, blender, all combined. So in our life also these things happen. We wanted to go somewhere, then something happens and we lost the way. We wanted to do japam, we wanted to meditate, but inside thunder comes, is it not? From the unconscious, and memory interferes. There's a beautiful exercise for this, so that the unconscious spell is broken. That's a long exercise. In olden days, that was called as a Brahminical way of living. But now, moment you say Brahmin, it gets colored with caste system. Originally, a Brahmin was supposed to be one who is investigating into Brahman. So, Sattva Shuddha Dhruva Smritihi. When the Sattva elements in the mind gets purified, how to make the Sattva element purified? Sattva Shuddha Dhruva Smriti. The memory doesn't slip. Slipping of the memory indicates the mechanical working of our personality. All of us are mechanical, is it not? You can sit on the chair, is it not? What is happening with the legs? Mechanical, is it not? It's not only for us. Once Buddha was taking a class, he did like this and then suddenly stopped the class. He became alert. He took that something which he threw and put it back on his thighs and then bent the thigh and again threw it back. It took nearly 4-5 minutes and Ananda, his favorite disciple, asked, "Master, why did you kill the dead mosquito?" Then Buddha told a relevant question. The mosquito bit me and it was a reflex action. I bit it like this. It escaped my attention. I want to correct myself. No action must escape. Everything must be censored by my consciousness and my alertness. So I am correcting the old action. He took the dead mosquito, put it on the thighs. He understood that I am beating the mosquito is dead and I am throwing the dead mosquito. See how great leaders they were, you see. The great realized souls, Buddha, Ramana Maharshi, Vivekananda, Ramakrishna, they were so alert, nothing escapes the purview of their mind. That is how the sadhana has to be done. Otherwise, the memory itself can kidnap us anytime. So one of the sadhana they do is Smriti Parishuddhi sadhana. Why? When the sattva becomes purified, the smriti also gets stabilized. Dhruva smriti, constantly we will start getting the memory of God. The unwanted memories will be removed, the weeds will be plucked out. That is what Tulsidas says, Kamadi dosha rahitam kurumana samcha. Vishnu kama is good, but other kamas, they are all doshas. So let Vishnu kama alone remain in my heart, no, in the mind. In the heart already there is the Vishnu kama, but the kamas in the mind are interrupting me. So, hey Rama, kama dosha rahitam. Let the mind be free from all the other kamas. So that this kama, the desire to get Vishnu, that materializes. So in the mind, these doshas are there. Dosha rahitam kuru manasamcha. And when the mind is bereft of all other kamas, and there is only Vishnu kama, akamo bhavati. A man desiring Vishnu becomes desireless because he cannot desire Vishnu unless he gives up all other desires. At that time, the mind and the heart merges. Ramana also says after some time, the mind merges into the heart and then the sadhana becomes non-mechanical. Then you get constant remembrance of the God and that remembrance makes us think of God continuously. In fact, it is not remembrance at all. It is called sahaja sthiti. The other sthiti is not sahaja. It is atma vismrita sthiti. We have forgotten, we are thinking of something which we should not think. And whatever we may be thinking in this world, behind all those thinking, there is I am thought present, is it not? I am thinking that. But we have forgotten the thinker and we are thinking about the objects which are thought upon. So in any thought, there is a thinker and the objects thought upon. But most of the time, we are not thinking about us, we have forgotten. So forgetting oneself, Shankara says, is suicide. Ita kon vasti moodatma yastu swarte brahmadyati durlabam manusham deha prapya tatrapi paurusham He got a human body and he has got terrific energy, Paurusham, or a male source. So, Dhruva Smriti, stabilized memory comes with Sattva Shuddhi. How to make the Sattva Shuddha? Mother says one is Japa. When you do Ishtamantra Japa, the Sattva elements of the body is purified. Everything looks very nice whenever we read the books. Only when we want to do things become so difficult for us. Because as we sit for doing Japam, memories crowd into our mind. Is it not because we have not done the Sattva Shuddhi or memory purification? This is how to purify the memory. Ahara Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhihi. Immediately she is saying, don't take garlic. Is it not? No. Okay, garlic is okay. It triggers so many emotional things. But Shankara says ahara is the food taken inside by all the sense organs, audio and video in me. Hundreds of things we see all over the world, is it not? Hundreds of things we hear. In addition to that, our own unending dustbin is inside, is it not? From there, so many thoughts are coming up, is it not? Even when we are listening to a lecture, when we are watching a movie, listening to some songs, from inside so many things will be coming on. I do not know whether you are alert and you have watched this. Try to listen to a song. And while listening to the song, listen to yourself also. You will find along with the song, we will be not only listening to the song alone. Normally we should listen to the song. Singularly, we will be imagining hundreds of things along with the lines of the song. I tested this because this is one of the Zen meditation. That as you hear, you will find along with the hearing, you don't listen to the song, hundreds of things mind will be thinking, you are hearing that also. One day I put on that song, Laguniya Payo Vinavito Thumala. As soon as the lines came, Krishna, Vishnu, Hari, Govinda, Gopal, suddenly I found I am also dancing with Sant Tukaram. Because in the movies we have seen Tukaram having this chipla and his tampura, he is also telling Krishna, Govinda, Hari. Then he is dancing, rotating. Then suddenly it struck me, I should listen to the song, let the song go into the mind fully. But between the me and the song, the imagination is triggered by the memory. Because long before I have seen the movie Jala Mahar Pandarinath, all those things, crowded memories are coming forth. So what happens is, memory gets trampled upon. So ahara shuddhau, along with this memory which is connected to spirituality, it is good, okay, beneficial. Unwanted other memories throughout the 24 hours will be crowding into our mind. Sometimes two people will be talking in the train. And after you come back, you will remember the whole thing, is it not? You can watch it in children. Once I was teaching my sister's young boy. He was hardly 7 or 6 years old. I was teaching him Hindi. Then suddenly he told, Jindabad, 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 Indira Gandhi, Jindabad. Then I told, where did you learn this? Then my brother told, day before yesterday, Congress party was taking the election procession. Indira Gandhi, this fellow doesn't know Hindi. He came from Chennai. Indira Gandhi Jindabad, Indira Gandhi Jindabad. He picked up without knowing the meaning, the powerful effect of memory, you see. Something very wonderful. The human mind is one of the most enigmatic instruments, very powerful, and once it becomes our friend, that is the greatest thing, a boon, a benediction for all of us. It is called Manaprasada. Mind also should give its prasada. Manaprasada means it is so pleasant that it is always with us. It is the mind that makes us our own enemy and makes us feel we are our own friend. Uddhare atmanatmanam natmanam avasadaye. Don't get disinterested in yourself. We get disinterested in the sadhana. Though we are doing it, the whole mind is not going, plunging into that. That plunging of the whole mind, what Sri Ramakrishna calls it as the thing caused by Vyakulata, the whole heart and the mind craves for that, without which we will go mad. So throughout the day, ahara, through the ears, through the eyes, and through our own mind, what are we thinking? If suddenly somebody has got a machine by which he can detect what thoughts are happening in your mind, how dangerous it would be, is it not? We had one Swami who was in Rhodesia. Mostly his name was Vijayananda Pashupati Maharaj. I heard the story from another Swami who was Mahapurush Maharaj's disciple, who heard it from him. He was in Rhodesia long before. He was Mahapurush Maharaj's disciple or Raja Maharaj's disciple. As he was carrying on the affairs of the work, one day a lady from Rhodesia came and for no reasons known to him went on scolding him. You are like this, you are like this, monks are coming like beggars and doing all this nonsense. And Swami was flabbergasted. What is this? There's no connection between me and this lady, nothing wrong has happened. Why is this lady is going on scolding me? But suddenly he heard a sound at the back of his mind. And instantly he found that the past, present and the future of the lady who was scolding, it stood open in front of him. And without his knowledge, he went on uttering those scenes which he saw. And the lady was simply shocked because one of the great secrets of her life was spelled out by that Swami. Immediately she got frightened and made a namaskara to Swamiji. With folded hands she ran away. Because he told her one intimate secret of her life. Like Swamiji told Rockefeller. Something very secret about his life, and Rockefeller was really put down by that. So this lady was so shocked, she simply retreated back. And Swami had a problem after that. Whoever comes to the ashrama, he could see the past, present and the future. And committee members whom he thought they are all very good people and they will all will assist, they are all wonderful, nice people. Everybody's good and bad started appearing in front of him. He could not deal with anybody. Now we all want to find other people's faults now. If other people's faults come in front of our eyes, and if we develop the power to see now, it will be impossible to live. That is why if you want peace of mind, you can have peace of mind only when you can deal with people. And if you go on having dosha darshanam, how can you have peace of mind? So mother was very logical. She told, if you want peace of mind, don't find others' fault. The Swami did not find others' faults. It appeared to him and he lost his peace of mind. Because whoever comes, he wants to interact and he is able to see this man has murdered, this man has cheated somebody, he has taken a loan and has not repaid. Everybody they are having something or other problem. Inside the mind. Outside everything is okay. The eyebrow lining, the lipstick, the black hair, the dress, everything looks very well polished and nice. But inside, most of us are bothered about outside. Brahma Jignasa or the spiritual life has got nothing to do with outside much. It is all inside. And then he wrote to Mahapurush Maharaj, I am in great trouble. I was very peaceful. I was totally oblivious, ignorant of whatever is happening or whatever was inside everybody. Now I am able to see everybody's inside, outside, out. Now you can understand the greatness, the power of Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda and Holy Mother. Seeing the whole world drowned in gutter, how beautifully they dealt with us, is it not? How sweet must have been their love. They simply overlooked all the defects. Come on. You may be a drunkard, you may be a prostitute, you may be a gunda, come on. So that is a terrific power of Sri Ramakrishna's love, overlooking all the defects. There's the infinite karuna, karunyavali. And Mahapurush Maharaj got a letter from Pashupati Maharaj that he's having a trouble. Then Mahapurush Maharaj replied back, it was I who gave that power to you to save you from that lady. Go on doing japam in this particular method, that power will vanish. After the incident was over, 1 or 2 years later, he came to Belur Math and he was narrating this to other Swamis of the Belur Math, that I got a power like this, and the lady came and told, and instantly I also saw the past, present and future. And I started telling him, she went away. Immediately 3-4 Swamis got up. Are you still having the power? And he told, no, please sit, I have lost it. By the grace of Mahapurush Maharaj, I disappeared from me, now you can sit and talk with me. So the mind constantly thinking, if we get like a lie detector, any instrument, and if we put it here, automatically we will know what are all the thoughts that were going through our mind. We will be surprised whether we thought it. Is it not? What is in our own house dustbin, we don't know. So in our mind, what are all the things we are putting inside? So that is the ahara. Sometimes whatever comes, people eat, is it not? Some, no, we don't want. A little more you take. Okay, give. You are asking, so give. We take, is it not? Even when the stomach is full, we go on taking. So ahara shuddho. For a spiritual aspirant, in receiving the things of the world through the ears, through the eyes, and also from our own mind, what is coming into the surface mind, like rockets, missiles coming from the unknown area, and we catch a thought and we go on munching those thoughts, is it not? Is it not? When we sit for japa or meditation, what are we doing? Sometimes chanting the name of God, and other times having a relation with the thoughts which are coming in the mind, and we are all having lots of conversation with those thoughts. Either we reject that thought, fighting with that, get out, or please come in, and we go on getting engaged with those thoughts. That is the two tendencies of the mind caused by attachment. Asakti. The asakti comes with two phases. One is raga, other is dvesha. We think raga is good and dvesha is bad. Both are one and the same thing. Raga and dvesha, it is the two faces of the same coin. Raga means sukhanushayi ragaha. Whatever I like, I get attached. Dukhanushayi dvesha. Whatever I don't like, it is dvesha. If you start liking something which you don't like, then that turns into raga. Like sugar turns, beginning sugar was aspect of raga. After some time when you get diabetes, the same sugar becomes an object of dvesha. So raga and dvesha are not in the object itself. Sukha and dukkha are not in the object itself. It is in the situation in which we are caught. Like camels, they eat the thorny plants and it is giving sukha. But for us, we have dvesha. And when you become a politician, this raga and dvesha can go on alternating. Today you are the enemy party, next day you have an alliance, and after some time again you break, you join with another party. And after some time all the parties which were hating themselves, they all join to form a national Mahagathbandhan, what they call. So in our mind also all the desires, they also have Mahagathbandhan, and then all gadbadi starts inside the mind. Hundreds of things are happening. So all this have one basic element, the fatal blow given to us because of asakti. Memory itself is based on asakti, attachment. We are attached to that, that's all. Memory is not a problem by itself. The attachment to the memory, that is what sways us. The past event comes in front of the eye of our mind. If you are not attached, it simply goes away. Moment you get attached, and the attachment is caused by emotion. If you don't get emotion, then you will neither react in a positive way nor react in a negative way. Because when the memories float in front of the mind, either you accept them, it is positive, raga, or you say, no, I don't want it, I don't want it. I had already paid the tax. Without knowing my name properly, police came and arrested. And in front of all, I was put to so much of shame. Then they told, madam, we are sorry, it was another Jayanti, not you. We mistook the plot number, both the names are V Jayanti, but we mistook, now it is clear. Fellow, you have put me to so much of, and when the memory comes, no, get out. Why? Because we got connected. The event happened somewhere before, it went away, but left the impression in the mind, and that impression comes, which is an action, which is a memory, not real, and we are responding to unreality. Is it not? The whole world is unreal, God alone is real. You are nodding the head as if you already have gone into samadhi and understood. If God alone is real, even for me also, Why do I attend the unreal world? Is it not? It is happening to all of us. We are all attending the unreal world. Whatever may be the reason or the logic we can give. But when the mind gets convinced that God alone is real, the mind automatically will flow towards the real. But now we are getting so much attached to these unreal things that mind goes towards that. So attachment is expressing itself in the form of like and dislike, raga and dvesha, asakti. The same asakti, Sri Ramakrishna says, turn it in the other direction, that is all. It is a great capability because asakti is nothing but the diluted form of prema, love. It is kama. He says the same kama, which is a ability at the lower level, catch hold of it and purify it. How to purify it? All the unwanted things must be removed. How? Take in what you need, avoid what you don't need. For that, one has to get very clear idea of what we need. What we want, that is different. What we need, that is different. Most of us confuse want and needs, is it not? What I need is oxygen, but what I want is an air conditioner. But without air conditioner I can live, but without oxygen I cannot live. Similarly, without this world I can live, but without God I cannot even have ignorant life. But the brain, the mind, eating so many unwanted things, have got so much habituated that again and again it goes into the same route. So first, in the sadhana chatushraya, 4 qualities needed for performing our sadhana. Viveka, this is what I really need. In Khetri, when I joined Khetri, we did cattle relief. Because 4-5 years there was no rain and there was no green grass, so we used to get tuda. His father was there at that time. He is originally from Khetri, the place where Swamiji stayed. So first few days when we gave the fodder, tuda means it's like paddy, that haystack. Wheat also has got the haystack. So I watched, before that the cows and other animals used to eat cinema poster also. Yes, because maida was there behind it. They used to paste the cinema posters with maida. And next to our ashrama there was Kolar goldfield laborers. And one day Sheshagiri Rao, I still remember, he came and told Swami, terrific. He said, Rajasthan cows are very ferocious and very strong. I told, how? They have eaten the cheap canvas, Swami. I told, why? I went and saw really cows have eaten the canvas of the jeep. And those people knew Kannada and Tamil. So few of them I used to prepare pepper rasam, curd rice and other things and give, because in the North India they will not get it. So one day he told, Swami, yes, there is no water in Khetri, there is water shortage. If you go to Rajasthan, many places first they will wipe the plate with the sand. After eating they will clean sand and with less water they will wash it. Our own Swami, who was there in Khetri Ashrama, he used to have a plastic tub. He used to sit on the plastic tub and take a bath. After taking bath, the water which is stored in the plastic tub, the water which was used for bathing, the same water he will wash clothes, Vimal Maharaj. He used to wash the clothes. And I used to get water, 1 bucket, 1 rupee in 1979. It was very difficult to get water. In the ashrama we had no water. We used to get from the Khetri copper mines. The tanker will come and we used to have 2 drums, barrels and fill it up and then get water. And these laborers, because there was no water, they simply wiped the hands after eating idli, sambar and masala dosa in the very cheap canvas. And cows are very intelligent, is it not? Getting the smell. So many days they are wiping their hands. After taking food they wipe like this, and then after that with the handkerchief they will wipe and go. the cows have come and eaten. And when we gave this tuda, the fodder, first 2-3 days cows came and just smelled it and went away. I was surprised. I told Maharaj, they are not eating. Then I told, this is nothing. Why? Well, even in Bengal, we have seen sometimes when we give rasgulla to very, very poor people, they have not eaten rasgulla, they will not like it. After taking 2-3 times, slowly the taste develops. Yesterday we were discussing about the Nama Ruchi. First we don't like to chant the name of the Lord's name. Slowly, then after 2-3 days, little one cow had given a biting on the straw, little by little, and then the old memories came back. And after that, slowly they started eating. It took nearly 2 to 3 days. So for our mind also, in the sadhana marga, it takes time to give up the old. That is why satsanga becomes very, very essential. Because through this satsanga, that is why Ramakrishna Math has been a great boon to people who are very, very sincere. At least evening we can come and sit. If nothing, 3 great people are sitting there. Just look at them. The very impression, ahara, we take in, is it not? What we take in is called ahara. Look at Sri Ramakrishna, automatically the memory will be stirred. Sharda Devi, nothing, at least the image will go inside. Otherwise SRK will go inside. You know what is SRK? One of the college boys, when I used SRK, he told, Swami, are you mentioning Shah Rukh Khan? I told, no, Sri Ramakrishna. So how the mind works, you see, very clever ways and the tricks of the minds are infinite. Moment I told SRK, his mind is going there. So the Ramakrishna Math indirectly in a very, very sweet way, like the great loving Lord Sri Ramakrishna, very slowly, gently, like a compassionate mother who says, don't eat this, don't eat this, take this. The boy wants to eat the cockroach also, is it not? Small children, they will beat the cockroach, they want to eat it. It looks like small piece of that silk milk or something, chocolate. He doesn't understand. Then the mother slowly dissuades him, don't take it. So in our mind, the asakti, the attachment to the sense objects which are naturally flowing, the first step is viveka. This is what I want and this is what I need. Wants can be infinite, but need will be little. I need little food, little clothing and little house. The same need, when it is combined with wants, it becomes infinite, insatiable wants. There is a shloka in one of the scriptures. All the food in the world cannot satisfy one man's desire, want. Because whatever you take in, it goes out, is it not? Nothing stays inside. Gallons and gallons of idli, sambar, Coca-Cola, tea, coffee, everything has gone inside. We are not bored, is it not? Is it not? You must have taken nearly 40,000 idlis. You say, no, now I am bored, 40,000 idlis, 35 gallons of chai I have taken, no. But when it comes to spiritual practice, 108 times some are finished, now it's enough. We get tired and bored, is it not? Yes, it is happening to our mind. It is due to the habit. Habit arises by contact. Sangat sanjayate kamaha, dhyayato vishyan pumsaha. He goes on thinking about the object and the contact is born. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Sri Ramakrishna says, up to this it is very good. Become more smart. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Have sadhu sangat. Sanjayate premaha. Isha prema starts with sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha is not meeting Swamis. The greatest sadhu, Sri Ramakrishna, is sitting. Vachanamrita is there. Our Upanishads are there. Gita is there. Bhajans are there. All these are different sources of sadhu sangha. So as the mind starts, the first step, viveka. Adav vivekaha. This is what I want. This is what I need. Without the wants I can stay, but without the needs I can't stay. Sri Ramakrishna says, the swan hamsa pakshi wants milk. So even in the milk, what we cannot do, if you at least get the talent of the milk, the milkman will be caught daily. You can put the hand, take the milk and leave the water in his can and over now you go back. This much milk only we have got, we will pay this much only. But the Hamsa Pakshi, very clever, nobody can cheat, takes the milk. I need milk. Water, whenever I want, I will drink from the ponds. It leaves the water. But in our case, we take both the water and the milkman cheats us because aviveki. And some of the, once I kept a lactometer when I was in Cochin Vaitila Ashrama. It was no water is being mixed. I put the lactometer. It was, yo Swami, you are a dangerous fellow. Nobody tested the milk with lactometer. I told lactometer shows how much milk content is there, how much water is there. The next day it didn't come. It was there are other better customers than you. Then I told, okay, I am not using the lactometer, you come and give. Then I kept 1 liter vessel. He told, again you are creating a problem. I told, this only 900 milligrams, what about the 100 grams? While coming here and there, it must have spilled, the vessel was empty, I poured, and it has stuck to the sides of the vessel, 100 milligrams have gone. I told, how it can go? Nothing sticks to the vessel. It is not a cloth vessel, it's an aluminium vessel. Swamiji, difficult to argue with. If you want milk or not, okay, well, come now you give. So we have to compromise. So Viveka is the first thing. Adau Viveka, Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. What is really lasting, that we should select. All of us are thinking the worldly joys will last. Is it not? But it is not lasting. That is a miserable part of it. It is not lasting, and every one of us with all the intellect, with boasted our own smartness, nothing. The magic of God is so wonderful that we are all under Mayadhish. This Maya is enchanting, but Mayadhish is more wonderful. But he purposely kept us enchanted with Maya. Don't come to Mayadhish. The mind is occupied continuously. So Viveka is the first step. Otherwise the seeking will not get strengthened. We may seek, but all the impressions of the mind, he will say, go there, you are seeking that. Otherwise, look at the magical creation of God. How dirty is this body, is it not? How many perfumes and odors we put. Daily we take bath, sometimes 3-4 times. Animals don't take bath and they don't smell. And we put body odor, sometimes along with sweat. That body odor gets another smell and it becomes so horrible. And man goes on accumulating and storing and hoarding inside the mind, both physically as well as psychologically. So physically also we stink. The whole country is poor because many rich people have abundant wealth. Sri Ramakrishna could not hold even lavang elaichi in his dhoti packet. He lost the way. Once Holy Mother kept some small packet and he kept it here. He could not find the way. Hoarding. Memory is nothing but hoarding. Adito ananasandhanam. No research into the past. Bhavishyat avicharayet. No inquiry into the future. Etat Paramahamsasya lakshanam. Paramahamsa is not bothered about the past, nor does he worry about the future. Absolutely in the eternal present, the flaming presence of God. He doesn't bother anything. Gone is gone, what has to come, let it come. But we are bothered about the past as well as the future, and the hoarding starts and we get attracted and attached to that. So what we need is that which is lasting, that which will be really beneficial for us in the long run. Ultimately what is going to benefit. So that first category, the qualification is required. Without qualification, sadhana cannot give siddhi. To get siddhi, success, fruit in our spiritual life, we can put the blames on so many things. Adhikharina mashaste phalasiddhir visheshataha upaya deshakaladya santyasmin sahakarinaha. The situation, the scenery and other things we say are responsible for our not following spiritual path. But Shankara says, Adhikarina Ashaste Phalasiddhi Visheshataha. If you are a qualified aspirant, then Phalasiddhi must come. That was what we discussed as karma rahasya. Perfect the means. The means must be perfect.